This might surprise everyone, but Biggie D Man, you're right. YouTube is not a community. YouTube is a group of like-minded individuals that search out other like-minded individuals and become friends with them. You can't do that in a real community. No, no, no. You can't go down to your local church and join a denomination that is the same as yours. No, you can't do that. And you can't choose the school where your children go to. You can't, move into a community in the United States of America or the rest of the world and raise your kids in a community of your choice. No. You can only go where you are supposed to go and only be friends and family with the people that you have to be friends with. So in that sense, yes, YouTube is not a community. It is a virtual community that you put together by going out and finding people you actually have something in common with. So when you go to the bar, do you sit with perfect strangers? Do you sit with a guy down the street? Or do you sit with your friends? That's the key. Well, when I go to the bar, I'm usually sitting with my friends. Yes, contrary to popular belief, I do have friends in real life. And we have a good time, just like my friends and I on YouTube have a good time. Now, the question is this real? Is YouTube, this virtual community, is it healthy and real? Well, let me put it to you this way. To steal a little bit from Biggie D Man, when you send those messages on YouTube or email or Twitter saying, hey, go f yourself to another person, those comments cut right through this and they go right into that person's heart. Now there's a limit of how many times you can tell me personally, for instance, to go f off, and we'll get to the answer at the end of this video. Okay? The damage done on YouTube in this virtual community by people who are uncaring or unsympathetic is immeasurable. There is no way to tell how much damage all those comments are doing to someone when you just constantly troll them and say, go kill yourself, I wish you'd hang yourself, your videos suck, you can't sing, you're lousy. I like to compare it to somebody like, say, Tom Cruise, for instance. Do you honestly think Tom Cruise, at the beginning of his career, would have become a movie star if he had to come on YouTube like Rebecca Black or Justin Bieber or even Fred and listen to, you suck, go kill yourself, you're a fag, your mother hates you, your mother wishes you were dead? Do you actually think somebody like Tom Cruise or any of the other actors that you idolize or watch in movies could have survived that kind of peer pressure? Let alone the people in high school. You're walking down the hall and somebody says, loser, fat ass, queer, Jew, right? Because it can all come down to that. Or, hey, black person. Sooner or later, you go to the office and you tell them, I've had enough of this hate crime. I've had enough of this bullying. I've had enough of this intimidation. And sooner or later, you either kill yourself or the school does something about it and either suspends or removes the student or gets them to stop. Well, where is that on YouTube? Well, the YouTube Safety Center right here allows you to turn people in. But it doesn't really quite adequately administer the whole site. You pretty much got to bird dog YouTube into getting rid of somebody. But isn't that the way it is in real life? Don't you have to go to the principal's office more than once usually to get somebody to quit calling you fatty 2x4 or hey 4 eyes constantly? Yeah, I think so. Most people just blow it off the first time. Well, where I'm going with this is YouTube is more real than people think. And when you do damage to people, when you slam people, when you hurt people, when you gang up on people, when you tell people, hey, secretly behind your back, everybody hates you, but they don't want to tell you. They're asking me to tell you because you're just not worth telling that to. You could potentially be doing some life-altering damage to that person. You could be cutting through that person and really doing some hurt. And to agree with Biggie D, man, you really don't know the kind of people you're dealing with. Are you dealing with somebody that's mentally stable enough to take that kind of abuse? To take that kind of hardship and that kind of hurt? You know, telling somebody to kill themselves over and over and over and over and over again to somebody with an unstable mind, do you think they can handle that? Probably not. So what's their limit? What's that magic number that you can keep saying that to somebody before they crack? Before they just say, that's it. I'm going out like David Carradine, baby. I don't want to know. And sometimes I feel like on YouTube, with a lot of the people I deal with, I'm putting stopgaps in there to keep that from happening. And it sickens me. It sickens me that I have to go out and actually tell somebody, you might have went too far. And then there's the other side of that. And the other side of that is, you think it's funny to go around and pick and pick and pick. But when it comes at you, it's not okay. Well, wait a minute. Stop right there. I don't think it's okay to pick on me. I might laugh and I might joke about the really horrendous comments I get on my videos. And believe me, to steal from my friend Hydro, haters do actually pay my bills. But it's not okay. It does hurt. I have friends that I've seen stop basically their YouTube career over a single comment. Not because they're not tough or able to handle it, but because that person said that magic word that they couldn't handle, that 1 inch of their soul that they were hiding from you because, this isn't real. And they were keeping that hidden from you, and you didn't know that that was the one exact zeroed in perfect sharpshooter shot that knocked them out and got them to quit. But you did it. You got lucky and you nailed them. I've seen people post things on Facebook and Twitter where they post a comment that somebody said about them, about their video or them themselves, a personal thing, and it was just too much for them. And that was the end of it. I've lost a lot of friends that way. I've lost a lot of people that I care about. And they've basically said, screw YouTube. It ain't worth it. I'm not putting up with this crap. And I don't think Tom Brokaw or Katie Couric or any of the people you watch on the news could handle that kind of abuse. If there was a comment ticker at the bottom of the news saying, you suck, Bill O'Reilly. You really suck, Bill O'Reilly. If there was a constant chatter in Rush Limbaugh's drugged out mind on the radio. One ear was listening to the callers and the other one was comments from people going, hey Rush, you're a fat ass. Hey Rush, you're still a fat ass. Hey Rush, you're always going to be a fat ass. Hey Rush, you're an ex-drug addict and everybody hates you. How much do you think a person can take before it gets into their soul and they just go, that's it, I'm done. Right here, I've had enough. So, when you say YouTube is not a community, in some ways it's not, and it is virtual. In other ways it is real, and it is a real community. And there's people out there trying to shepherd and protect individuals and try to get people to see their ways, and get them to see that they're doing some real damage. And they're hitting people's limits. And when you push that button's down, and that person's done. They're not coming back. They're not going to be their same self on here. So try to think about that when you're dropping these big bomb comments of yours, telling somebody they suck or they're fat or they're ugly or their room is a sloppy pigsty that should be turned into the show hoarders. You're probably hurting that person. So if you're participating in that and even behind the scenes writing to people telling them they're a fag or they're a queer or they suck or you're never going to stop bothering them, think about what you're doing to that person. And think about when they're telling others that you're talking about them like that, how they might react and how they might come at you to try to get you to wake up and realize the errors of your ways. Maybe things are a little more real than people give YouTube credit. Personally, you know, I don't think William Shatner would have a career if he had to sit there on set trying to film Star Trek scenes and people were saying, "You're overacting, Bill, you're overacting. Bill, you're overacting. You suck, Bill. Bill, your hairpiece is showing, Bill. Bill, your gut's starting to show." They probably would have stopped after the Wrath of Khan, and that would have been the end of the whole Star Trek dynasty. Just something to think about. So that's YouTube in a nutshell. Oh, and to get back to limits. Do you know what my limit is? When you tell me to go f off, how many times you can get away with that before I'm going to get bent and you're going to have a hard row to hoe? What do you think that limit is? 3. The limit is 3. You tell me to go f off in a email, personal message, or on Twitter 3 times in a row. Well, whatever happens, happens, brother. And if you don't like it, you go tell somebody about it, because I don't give a shit. You're past the limit. And it's real now, baby. It's real all day long. And if you thought yesterday was bad, today's even gonna be worse. So, there's your example of what YouTube's all about. Is it real or not? I'm pretty sure today it's gonna get real. All day long. Thanks, Biggie D, man. I think you struck up a hell of a debate. And I would really appreciate any responses anybody would have for my video. Thank you very much. BDM out.